afternoon and welcome to Caulfield for the running of the 116th Caulfield Cup. This great race, first run in 1879, brings together all of Australia's top stayers. It's the first leg of the big Melbourne Cup stubble at Caulfield today and then 17 days later at Flemington for the Melbourne Cup. You're looking at part of the new $50 million grandstand at Caulfield, and Caulfield today in 1992 is certainly a world-class racetrack with all the amenities for punters and spectators. It wasn't always quite like that. When they first raced here at Caulfield in 1859, history tells us that it was a rough track hewn from local sandhills and swampland. Well, it's certainly not like that today. 18 of Australia's best stayers will contest this great race. Years ago, they used to allow more runners, but perhaps after the 1885 Cup, when 16 of 41 runners crashed to the ground, they decided to cut the field down in size. And today, we get 18 runners in the Caulfield Cup. All the great champions of the past have won this race. Horses like Poseidon, Manfred, Regilla and Amonis. The great New Zealanders, Rising Fast and Red Craze, won the Caulfield Cup, and our modern day champions, horses like Galilei, Tobin Bronze, Tulloch, and last year, the mighty mare, Let's-a-Lope. This year, who will win out of the 18? I'm not sure, but let's have a look at the tote prices. And I must stress, these are Victorian TAB prices and not bookmakers' prices. Number 1, Castletown from New Zealand is at 14 to 1. He won the Caulfield Stakes here last week, and he's a great, tough stayer. My Eagle Eye, also from New Zealand, is at 40 to 1. Dr. Grace, the Sydney Star, he's won in top company in Sydney and Melbourne. He's at 16 to 1. Grooming, the winner of this year's Brisbane Cup, good, strong stayer, is at 40 to 1. He'll be ridden by the little Queensland jockey, Chris Muntz. Viandacross, a clear-cut favourite, got the Shane Dye in the saddle. He's won 9 out of 18 starts. He beat Naturalism in one race in Sydney in the autumn and was probably unlucky in 2 other races in which he lost to the champion Victorian. Equidity, trained by the old maestro Tommy Smith, is at 25 to 1. Heroicity, not as well suited now with the track a bit wet, has got out to 14 to 1. Mannerism, a classy mare, but really untried at this distance, is at 9 to 1. Sub-Zero, another of the Lee Freedman trained horses, is at 11 to 1. Star of the Realm, getting out a little bit in popularity, was one of the favourites early in Cups betting. He's now at 11 to 1. Tiaku Nick, trained by Gay Waterhouse, daughter of Tommy Smith, ridden by Mick Dittman, probably the best jockey in Australia. Tiaku Nick is at 9 to 1. Dark Czar, a 14 to 1 chance from the David Hayes stable. Raw Magic, top New Zealand mare, has won races in Victoria, won the Oaks and the Derby in Queensland. She's come over specifically for this race. She's at 6 to 1 and will be ridden by the ace New Zealand rider, Lance O'Sullivan. My Brilliant Star's at 40 to 1, probably should be 400 to 1, but she did show great form in the autumn when she won the AJC Oaks at Randwick. Staring, the New Zealand Oaks winner, is a 66 to 1 chance. It's probably her price on the strength of her 6th in the Tarak handicap here last week. Ramyar, a quiet tip round the track, likes the soft track, is at 14 to 1, be ridden by David Taggart. Regal Sea and Gathano, both outsiders trained by Lee Freedman, are at 80 to 1 and 66 to 1 respectively, and the 2 reserves, Mantelpiece and Terraire, never got a run. Okay, there is Viandacross, the horse everybody's talking about. Shane Dye's the jockey. Shane's already ridden the winner here at Caulfield today. Viandacross will be suited the way the track is, even though he's drawn deep, because jockeys are leaving the rail. And talking of jockeys, Jeff Hutchinson spoke with Shane Dye earlier in the day.
Shane Dye, how does it feel to be riding the shortest priced favourite in the Caulfield Cup for 10 years?
Yeah, great. I'm on the best horse in the race, and he's going to be very, very hard to beat today. Unfortunately, it's very heavy going out there. He's won on a heavy track, but he prefers a good track. But the way the racing is here today, it's going to suit him, I think, because they've been winning out wide, and he's drawn very, very wide. I'm going to get back, and the last winner here come from a long way back, so he's going to be suited by it.
What about his work this week? Everyone has said it's been quite outstanding.
Unbelievable work, you know, it was just sensational, and he's only going to improve by the work. And he gave Rough Habit about 8 lengths the other day and picked her up pretty easy, so I'm expecting a very big race today.
Now, how did you feel when the barrier draw was announced? Were you concerned at all, although Let's-a-Lope did win from 17 last year?
Wasn't really worried about it because he's going to get back, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's in the lap of the gods.
All right, he's a versatile horse, and because of that, a very good chance today, you reckon?
Oh, definitely. There's no doubt about that. He's a very good bet at the 5 to 1 or 4 to 1.
Shane Dye, good luck.
Thank you.
Well, the scene is set for for the 1992 Caulfield Cup. A short break coming up, and then live on the wide world of sports, the 1992 Caulfield Cup.
I think it's a lot more.
Well, there they are, the trophies for the 1992 Caulfield Cup. Prize money is $1 million, but some rich men have spent much more than that trying to win that elusive trophy. Who will it be this year? Well, we'll soon know. The race is only a few minutes away, and the horses are milling around behind the barrier. One of the great things of this year's Caulfield Cup is the emergence of Lee Friedman. He's got 5 runners, whereas Bart Cummings, who has won the race 6 times and won the Melbourne Cup 9 times, hasn't a runner. There are some of the Caulfield beauties decked out in blue and white. And there is the great New Zealander Castletown. He's trained in New Zealand, but Dark Czar, one of the runners, is trained here or trained in Melbourne and Adelaide by David Hayes. David spoke earlier with Jeff Hutchinson.
David Hayes, you said Dark Czar is extremely fit. He'll need to be this afternoon.
Very testing ground out there. It's not heavy, but it's quite close to it. And he has a little bit of form on rain-affected ground. And he's a St. Ledger winner, so the tougher it gets, the better he might get.
So you really aren't too sorry to see that we've had plenty of rain in the last couple of days?
I've got a lot of other nice runners on the day that like it better than slow. So I would personally prefer it dead or better, but this is one horse that can go through it.
All right, Viander Cross, seen as the shortest price favourite for a Caulfield Cup for 10 years. Do you have as much belief in his ability as everyone else does?
Oh, there's no doubt he's a great horse, but gee, I'd say it's one of the most even, classiest cup fields in a long time. If you look through, there's nearly every horse has either won a Group 1 race last preparation or been placed in one. And to see a horse like Castletown on testing ground like this last week come from last and come right over the top, well, you know, he's terrific value, and I know he's going well because he worked with one of my horses and was all over it like a rash last week.
You think today's a day where an iron horse like Castletown could probably have some success?
Oh, look, he's got a big weight, but he showed he could carry it last week. But I hope a horse with not quite as much weight, like 6 kilos left, called Dark Czar, beats him.
We hope to talk to you afterwards. Thanks, David.
I hope I'm talking to you.
Well, that was David Hayes, the trainer of Dark Czar. Dark Czar is in the market, but there's no doubt the horse the punters want. They all want the mighty Kiwi Viander Cross. 4-1 earlier on the tote. He's now into just over 3-1, and I wouldn't be surprised if he firms even more. Let's have a look at the latest Victorian TAB tote prices. Number 1, Castletown, the New Zealander, is still at 14-1. My Eagle Eye is at 40-1. Dr. Grace is at 20-1. He's got out a little bit. Grooming is at 40-1. Viander Cross is showing $4 exactly for a $1 investment, odds of 3-1, and is a clear-cut favourite both on the tote and with on-course bookmakers. Equidity is at 25-1. Heroicity, as I said, not quite as well suited on the wet track, is at 14-1. Mannerism is at 9-1. Sub-Zero and Star of the Realm still around 11-1. Tiako Nick has got out a point now to 10-1. Dark Czar, the horse that David Hayes spoke of, is at 14-1. The second favourite is the New Zealander, Royal Magic. Royal Magic is still at 6-1 or just over. At the moment, she's going to pay $7.20 on the Victorian TAB for a $1 investment. My Brilliant Star is at 40-1, Steering at 66-1, Ramyar at 14-1, and the two roughies, Regal Sea and Gathano, are both at 80-1. Well, there's only a minute or two before post time. The horses are going into the barrier around there. There's TAB number 17, Regal Seas, ridden by Alf Matthews of South Australia. We've still got a few horses to go in. There is the Tommy Smith trained Equidity, TAB number 6 in the blue and green stripes. Equidity, as I said, is trained by Tommy. He's won this race 4 times, 2 less than the mighty Bart Cummings. OK, our caller for the 1992 Caulfield Cup is John Russell, and John's ready now for the horses behind the barrier.
Waiting on My Eagle Eye as viewers to Channel 9. Wide World of Sports join us. My Eagle Eye coming in, waiting for Gathano to move up. Sub-Zero. Viander Cross is second from the outside in prominent pink and blue colours. He's moving in now. 3-1 favourite, Viander Cross. Equidity, who won last Saturday's Herbert Power Handicap, will come up on the outside waiting for Starring. And most of the field is set here. Heroicity, the top Western Australian galloper, coming in. Tiako Nick, of course, won the Metropolitan. And Gather Now about to move in. Standing back at the moment, Royal Magic is still on the move. So also is Starring. Now here's Royal Magic about to go forward. So from the inside, Tiako Nick grooming, Dark Czar. Ramyar, an empty stall. My Eagle Eye, then Heroicity, Royal Magic. There's Gather Now coming in alongside the stablemate Sub-Zero. Star of the Realm standing in well with Castletown. Mannerism, Dr. Grace, My Brilliant Star, Regal Sea, Viander Cross, second from the outside, Equidity, and they're all in the stalls for the 1992 Foster's Caulfield Cup, waiting for the light. There it is. Set. Ready. They're off to a great start in the Cup now, and on the inside, one of the first out was Tiako Nick with Ramyar, who commenced well, and so did Zarkzar. And away quickly also Gather Now is looking for the early lead, and Sub-Zero, the grey, is prominent as they run down the straight the first timer. Heroicity is in behind them, being followed by Royal Magic, and very deep on the track, going up towards the leaders, Equidity. And a bit further back is My Brilliant Star. On the outside of Dr. Grace in that leading group is Mannerism. They're followed by Star of the Realm. A length and a half further back in the field of My Eagle Eye as they go out of the straight, followed by Grooming. Viander Cross is third last, next to last Regal Sea, and last of all Castletown. Out of the straight they travel, 1,800 metres left to go, and Gather Now is dashed to the front in the Cup, led by a length and a half. Equidity second on the outside of Tiako Nick, nicely positioned. They're followed by Dark Star, fourth on the inside of Ramyar, and just in behind them Heroicity. A length to Sub-Zero on the inside of Dr. Grace. They're followed by Starring, half a length away, Mannerism, 1,600 to run. A length and a half further back then is Royal Magic on the inside of My Brilliant Star, being followed by My Eagle Eye. Over on the inside is Grooming, and just in behind them Star of the Realm, followed by Viander Cross, who's third last around the outside of Regal Sea, and Castletown bringing up the rear. They climb the hill. Gather Now is the leader in the Cup, led over a length in advance here of on the outside Equidity second, half a length away, getting a beautiful run as Tiako Nick, and Dark Czar is handy. Heroicity on the inside of Ramyar as they race over the hill, being followed next then by Sub-Zero. Dr. Grace at the head of the others. They're followed by Starring over on the inside of Mannerism, three deep to My Brilliant Star, and going around the outside then taking closer order is My Eagle Eye, being followed next over on the inside by Grooming, and a fair way back then is Viander Cross, and Star of the Realms a long way out of her ground, and she was followed by Regal Sea, and last of all down the side Castletown. 800 metres left to go. Gather Now is making a merry bid for victory in the Cup, and Gather Now in front by a length and a half. Equidity second, a length further back then over on the inside is Tiako Nick, and putting in a run further back is Dark Czar, Ramyar. Round the outside Dr. Grace, Heroicity, Starring on the inside, wider on the track. Here comes Viander Cross, the favourite from a long way back, and Castletown following, followed by Sub-Zero. Royal Magic well back. Viander Cross right to the outside as they straighten up. Over on the inside, Gather Now will lead into the straight. In second place down the outside, Mannerism putting herself in the picture, and right over on the outside is Viander Cross. It's Gather Now the leader with about 200 metres left to go. Viander Cross is flying home. Mannerism in the centre, followed by Equidity. Viander Cross has taken the lead in the Cup. Viander Cross in front with 100 metres left to go from Mannerism, trying to get to it. Viander Cross just in front. Viander Cross the outside. They hit it. Bobby finish. Very tight. Viander Cross maybe from Mannerism. Nothing in it. And tight for third Equidity, Gather Now and Sub-Zero. And they're followed by Castletown, and further back then Royal Magic, followed by Starring, Tiako Nick, followed by Regal Sea, My Brilliant Star. Next home Ramyar, Heroicity, followed by Star of the Realm, and Dark Czar back behind them, followed by Castletown, and last of all Dr. Grace.
Well, what a thriller in the 1992 Caulfield Cup between the favourite Viander Cross and also the very, very good mare Mannerism. Here as we pick up the replay, it's Viander Cross in front in the pink. Shane Dye went particularly wide on the home turn, and that's Mannerism fighting back inside her. Mannerism, one of the 5 Lee Friedman trained horses. They hit the line. Oh boy, who's won? I think we'll have to wait for the judge there. We see a close-up here between number 5, Viander Cross, and the Lee Friedman trained Mannerism. Remember, it was Lee Friedman who beat Viander Cross twice in Sydney with his great horse Naturalism. But it's an exciting finish between Viander Cross and Mannerism has won the Caulfield Cup of 1992. TAB number 8, Mannerism has grabbed Viander Cross in the last bound and gives Lee Friedman the Caulfield Cup. What an exciting race. Viander Cross certainly looked home. Shane Dye made a long, sustained run on him and it was only in the last 50 metres that the Kiwi faded, and Mannerism, ridden by Damien Oliver, drive through and grabbed victory. The official numbers are 8, 5 and 6. Mannerism was first, Viander Cross second, and Equidity from the TJ Smith stable finished third. Officially fourth was number 9, Sub-Zero. Well, Mannerism had only won one race beyond a mile before today, one race over 2,000 metres, the Australasian Oaks 20 months ago in Adelaide, and now a mile and a half, 2,400 metres. We all thought she might be wanting, but no, she was the one that, when the others were found wanting, that took the prize. What a great finish. Connections are understandably excited, and Lee Friedman wins another Group 1 race. Damien Oliver is all smiles. She grabbed Viander Cross probably in the very last bound, but that's all you got to do. As long as your nose is in front, right on the post, that's where it counts. Okay, repeating, the placings in the Caulfield Cup were 8, 5 and 6. A short break, and then we'll be back with the official tote dividends and a summing of the great race. Well, the result is now official of the 1992 Caulfield Cup, and the winner, Mannerism, on the Victorian TAB has paid $10.20 for a win, $3.60 for a place. The favourite, Viander Cross, gallant in defeat, paid $1.90, and number 6, Equidity, third, paid the excellent place dividend of $7.60. There's still plenty of excitement in the mounting yard. Jeff Hutchinson's over there. I'm sure we'll throw to Jeff shortly. But in the meantime, we'll just show you a few pictures and try and build up the excitement of the great race. Viander Cross, well, I suppose Shane Dye will have some critics. He took off a long way from home after giving the horse time to settle, and he went particularly wide on the home turn. But a half a stride earlier and he was a genius. And as we pick up the replay, he's still in front, but when they hit the line, the horse who's got the head down right on the post is Mannerism, and the gallant mare, as you can see, Damien Oliver's whip high up in the air there, got the prize. Mannerism first, Viander Cross second, and I think that race will be remembered as one of the great Australian turf classics. Perhaps not quite the two-horse war of Bone Crusher and our Waverley Star in the Cox Plate a few years ago, but certainly a great race, and particularly over the last 100 metres, a super race between two very fine racehorses. But the one they remember is the victor, and there she is, getting decorated with a garland of roses as her proud connections look on. The Foster's 1992 Caulfield Cup winner is Mannerism. As I said, the big risk with her was whether she'd run the distance right out. A lot of people thought that she was found wanting last week at the finish of the Caulfield Stakes at 2,000 metres, but that wasn't the way it turned out. Okay, a break coming up, and then more on the wide world of sports.